Politics is a dangerous game, but someone's got to play it. In this video, I share with you my thoughts on politics and how it relates to spirituality. This is Spiritual Actualization. I'm Rucker. I've got my green tea. Let's get into this. Baby, let me tell you, politics is going crazy. Like, things are in frickin' sane, and it's a normal day in Washington, D.C. In all seriousness, the political landscape right now is very, very heated, we'll say, and it's causing a lot of friction within even spiritual communities. Why? Because there are a number of candidates running for offices on positions that are polarizing, to say the least. So how do you deal with that? If we're supposed to be people of light and love, if we're supposed to be joining in unity, is there a place for us in politics? Well, there absolutely is. And I encourage you, instead of avoiding the conversation, to learn to have the conversation in a way that expresses love, in a way that is high vibrational, in a way that is real and authentic, and still keeps in mind the troubles of the world. Now, understand that this is not unexpected. The turbulence we're experiencing is simply part of the shift that we are experiencing. In 2018, I delivered a message at the Intersection, which is a spiritual community in Las Vegas, and I said the remnants of the old system are going to fight like hell to stay in place. And that's exactly what we see happening. This is not an endorsement for any candidate or suggesting that one is better than the other. And they all have their advantages and disadvantages. And there are some that, as people of light and love, are definitely more in line with our values. But this is not a video to tell you who you should support or vote for. It's one to say, get involved in the process. It's one to say, when you're having the conversations, don't allow those lower vibrational states to take over. Because right now our politics is plummeting. We thought we were at 200, we're not there anymore. We've plummeted really down to anger, a lot of fears in there, but even some shame and grief is in the mix. And those lower vibrational energies are trying to pull all of us down to that place where we just give in and say, fine, we're going to go backwards instead of forwards. But I'm going to tell you, it's not going to happen. We're not going to go backwards any more than an arrow that's being pulled is going backwards. It may feel like we've gone back, but what's really happening is we're just getting some momentum behind us to push us forward into the next stage of our evolution. We are at the cusp of a global transformation in consciousness. Not just local pods of people that are getting this, but globally, we're going to elevate our consciousness to a state of love. And that's going to be a massive shift. As you know, on the consciousness scale at 200, that's better because you're finally like moving forward. But 500 is like a huge leap. And so when we make that leap into the 500 realm, some may even call this a 5D reality. And so it's not by coincidence. I think that that's very much aligned because that level of love is calibrated at 500, unconditional love at 540. Some also call that joy. But in this state, the world will simply be different. And we're seeing just little hints of this all over the place. For example, there was a candidate that proposed a minimum income for all Americans. Well, that's not a new idea, but it was presented in a new way and with new reasoning, and new people got engaged behind that concept. There's another candidate that says, you know what? We can provide health care to everyone, and they don't have to worry about if they lose their job or change employers, or every year going through that shuffle of what did their employer pick this time. I almost said this SHIT. Woo! But it's the truth. Like, I've dealt with it. I work for a nonprofit right now. And when I first began with this organization, I basically didn't pay anything for my health insurance. And now I'm paying several $100s a month. Didn't pay me several $100s a month extra when they changed it. That's just the way it is. And they changed the carrier and all of these different things happen. And so there's a candidate that's saying, you know what? We'll just provide universal health care. Just like all people are protected by the police and the fire department, we're going to protect all people from illness with health care. And that's really a love vibration idea. I'm not trying to tell you whether you should support that or not. I'm just saying that stems from the vibration of love. Because what does love do? Love does no wrong to its neighbor. And conversely, love takes care of the sick and the poor and the struggling, right? That's all what love does. Love is not just an energy. Love is an energy. It's the substance. It's the foundation of the universe. And love is an action. Love presents itself. It doesn't just stay invisible. Like air, once it gets in your body, it does stuff. Like it helps you stay alive. The same as with love. When love is expressed, it does stuff. Real technical way to say it, right? So that's another position that's out there now. Another candidate, this is 3 separate people. I'm not just picking all platforms from one. So you say, oh, he's supporting this person. That's not what I'm doing. But another candidate is suggesting to add additional taxes to people that are extraordinarily wealthy so that money can be funneled into things like education. That seems reasonable to people in a state of love consciousness. Well, if I have more, why wouldn't I want to give more? You see that? But if you're in a lack consciousness, then that feels very, very scary. And I'll be very candid with you. I am a VIP at one of the local casino chains here in Las Vegas, the best place on earth, just saying. But I'm a VIP. And so when I go to eat, I skip the line. I just get a seat. It's like, hey, I'm here. And there I have a seat. And it's nice. I admit, I really enjoy it. And I say that kind of, sheepishly, I'm sorry for loving it. But I also want you to know that I totally get why billionaires want to be billionaires. I'm not a billionaire yet. I'm not saying I'll never be one. It's highly unlikely because I'm a giver and I just tend to give away a lot. So until the dollar is worth less, I probably, not worthless like one word, but worth less. But until that happens, I'll just be giving away money because I'll be a millionaire. That's probably the range that I'll be in. But understand, $1 billion is 1,000 million. So we got a big range there. Anyway, diverting back to the subject. When I experience those things, I totally get why they get into a state of fear, because you're gonna intrude on my lifestyle, you're gonna make things less comfortable for me. The love of money is the root of all evil. Not money. Money is not evil, but the love of it, putting that ahead of people, is certainly evil. And that's what you see today, even with the arguments against some of the things we've talked about. It's like, well, how are we going to pay for it? We can pay for war. We can pay for killing people. We can even pay for putting people in jail, but we can't pay for putting them in the hospital. That's the problem. And as spiritual people, we have to get our voices into the mix, because there are people wavering on the fence of, that does sound like a good idea, but is it realistic? Is this person electable with this idea? Heck yeah, they're electable if we all vote for them. It doesn't matter who the candidate is. If we all vote for them, they are electable. And as spiritual people, we have to let others know that we're voting for people. We're out here. We understand the issues. We're not just in our yoga studio becoming enlightened. We're not just having Dharma talks. We're actually doing things in this world, and we have opinions and thoughts and reasons for why we live the way we do. And most spiritual people don't want to get dirty. And that's unfortunate, because sometimes and I'm not saying become dirty, I'm not saying operate the way they do, but you got to get into the trenches and actually be active and be seen. And being seen can be frightening because you're exposed. In a previous video, we talked about being authentic. It's the same thing. When you're exposed, people will treat you differently. I'm not going to kid you. You may lose some opportunities, but what you gain in return is so much more. And we know this life is but a flash in the pan. So we may not get everything we want in this life, but that doesn't mean this is worthless. What we leave behind for the next generation matters. And it's something that we should really be aware of. So as we elevate our consciousness, as we become more aware of others, we have to become more involved as well. We have to not just talk about the scale of consciousness. We have to actually live from it. We have to operate in a way that makes that manifest in the world. So if we want to get to the level of love at 500 or 540 for unconditional love, maybe start by voting. Maybe start by telling people, you know what, I was thinking about that policy, and here's why I think it's a good idea. Here's why making sure there's no one sick or poor is a good idea. And as you have those conversations, they become the norm. If you ever notice with liars, they repeat a lie over and over and over again, and all of a sudden it doesn't feel so harsh anymore. It's like, well, you know, maybe from one angle I can see that. And that's a technique. If you just continue to say the same lie over, eventually the masses do accept it as truth. That's just the way it works. So we have to tell the truth over and over and over again, so that people can really see, so that their eyes can open, so that their hearts can crack open and embrace one another. We can't continue to allow fear to rule our world. We can't continue to allow diversity to be something that is just a checkbox. Oh yeah, we've got a diverse campaign, we've got a diverse staff. No, diversity needs to be, how are they working together? How do the pieces work together in concert? That's where we've got to get. So I'm just encouraging you today, let's get political with our spirituality. This is spiritual actualization after all. And what does that really mean? If we're going to actualize our spirituality, it means it's not just going to be an ethereal concept. It's going to be practical. It's going to be how we live our lives. It's going to be how we walk. We're not just going to talk the talk. We're going to walk the walk as well. We got to talk the talk too. People need to hear this, and we've got to show them with our actions. The best sermon that anyone will ever hear is how you live your life. I stole that from my Christian past. But in all seriousness, the best spirituality advice anyone will ever get, the best way to raise someone's consciousness is the way that you live your life. So I thank you so much for watching this video and for hitting the like button. Thank you. And also for subscribing. Make sure that if you're not already, subscribe to the channel. Thank you. We've reached over my goal for the month. Like, we got more subscribers. So yay. That's wonderful. But still, if you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when new videos are posted. I do post brand new content every Thursday and every Sunday religiously, and then I do sprinkle additional content throughout the week, including some throwbacks from my old church and some other things that I've done, so you don't want to miss anything, so make sure you get the notifications as well. I'd also love your comments. Tell me what your thoughts are on politics. Let's have this conversation. Let's do it. Let's dive in. And I am on Instagram. I've got a lot for you at the end of the video. I'm on Instagram, so follow me there too. I do content there that's different from what's on YouTube, so I hope to connect with you because I really actually just want to be nosy and see what you be posting. That's why I want you to follow me on Instagram. So again, thank you for watching. I love you, and I want you to know you are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. So love yourself, baby. Love yourself. I'll see you in the next video.